Are you ready to heal your mind, body, and soul from the inside out? Welcome to the Real Healing Institute show with Michelle Sinclair, divine healer and spiritual teacher, where spiritual transformation meets practical guidance to break free from limiting beliefs, subconscious pain, and energetic blocks. This is a powerful space for those seeking true healing and enlightenment. Michelle's teachings are rooted in her deep study of the Christ letters and the spiritual awakening that came from her unwavering dedication to divine truth. She helps individuals navigate their inner healing journey through subconscious soul healing techniques and spiritual teachings by uplifting the vibrational resonance of our thoughts, words, and actions that shape the very fabric of our lives. It is time to learn the profound understandings of universal love. The Real Healing Institute show starts now. Excellent. Welcome in, everyone. I'm so excited to have Rachel with us here today. Welcome, Rachel. Yay.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So exciting. Okay, so let's just start off. I want you to kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, a little brief intro about what you do and who you are.
Hi, well, I'm Rachel Farnsworth. I'm Wellness with Rachel. And I have just started this back in 2019 when I just qualified in hypnotherapy, and my daughter had a session with me and we cleared her autoimmune disease in one session, which was quite powerful, and I didn't really know what I was doing. And since then, I've won awards for my work, which is amazing.
That is so amazing. So, first of all, let's start off with that coolest thing ever with your daughter. Can you give us some details about this? Because this is just amazing, and this really speaks to the power of hypnosis, and even the fact that you didn't really know what you were doing at the time.
Yes, it was very much step, painting by numbers almost. Step one, what do you do? Relax the client. Step two, regress. And it was, my daughter had been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease when she was a year old, which was juvenile arthritis. She'd started walking funny around 18 months old. So we went to the doctors and they said, oh, we don't know what it is. There was loads of tests and all the confusion going on with that. But the long and the short of it was they gave us a name. She's got autoimmune disease. It's arthritis. Her body's working against her. And I remember saying to the doctor, why would your body work against you? That doesn't seem to make any sense. Of course, they couldn't tell me why, because they didn't know. So I just sort of parked that thought, but it still felt off, but I didn't know why. I wasn't on the spiritual path back then. So I was still very much believing everything that I was told. And so they gave us some medication that my daughter had to take, and it led to self-injecting this medication, which made her really sick every weekend, so much so that we didn't go out. We just sort of held her around the toilet, and that was basically our weekend. And I got an older son as well, so he'd had his life on hold at the weekends as well because we couldn't go out because she was so poorly. And the long and the short of it was the universe gave me hypnosis to train in, and it came as a container of trying to be a counselor or training to be a counselor. That was what I thought I wanted to do. My second marriage was falling apart, and rather than focus on that, I thought, oh, I can help other people. So that's where I was in that. So I thought I'd train in this local training, which was training to be a counselor. But the universe loves dropping these little things, because if it said go training hypnotherapy, I'd have been an absolute no, I'm not interested. So it's funny, isn't it? So I trained, they had to do hypnotherapy in the first year. Very funny that, not the second or third, but the first, right? Mm-hmm. So I was, well, I'm not interested. I'll just skip that, do the work, but I'm really interested in years 2 and 3. But that's not what happened, because as I'm doing the homework and learning stuff, of course, I'm Googling hypnotherapy, and other methods of hypnotherapy were popping up as well. And one with a very advanced hypnotherapy. And my subconscious mind was going, you've got to train in this, you've got to train in this. And I was like, oh, why do I want to train in this? But that looping thought was going on and on, driving me crazy. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to have to give in and train, right? So that's what I did. And that was in 2018. I qualified in June 2018. And I got the certificate, and still no plan. I was just going to file the certificate and get on with my life. only my daughter was going through a flare up at that time. She'd been in drug-induced remission for 2 years at this point, and they told us to come off the drugs. She was 14 at this moment in time, and they said, come off the drugs. She may have outgrown it. We were really excited about that thought. So not taking the drugs, 8 weeks. We've got weekends back. We were going out. We were like, wow, this is amazing. Well, look what we've missed. Crazy. But then she started having painful knees again. And we were trying to ignore that because we knew where we were going with this. They were going to tell us to go back on medication. And my daughter, Emily, was saying, I can't do that, Mum. I can't go through that. And I said, no. I mean, she was actually crying in the doctor's surgery when they said to her that, you know, she needed to go back on it, and don't be surprised if they're more powerful drugs this time. And she just cried and said, I can't do it. And I said, no, and I can't watch you. And then I was sort of thinking, I need to find a solution to this, which is quite interesting, because when we were going to all the hospital visits, Fix You by Coldplay was on the radio every single time. And every time it was on, I'm crying and I'm just going, please, universe, if there's anybody out there, just show me the way, because I don't know what to Google. I don't know where to start looking. No idea. So I said to Emily at the end of that consultation, you know what? I've just trained in this thing. Maybe I know other people have got amazing results with hypnotherapy. I know I'm not them, but what if we have a session? What if we just reduce the pain a little bit? Wouldn't that be good? And I said, even if I give you a session, one session a week for 52 weeks, for a whole year, wouldn't it be worth it? So she's like, yeah, she's 14, you know, a bit disinterested, like, yeah, that's going to work, you know. Anyway, so I got her to relax. And like I said, it was very much hypnosis by numbers. Step 1, relax the client. Step 2, regress back. But we got some scenes, and I was excited about that. And it was really about her being herself. That was what that came about. And I'm like, this doesn't seem to be working too well. But then we did the parts therapy. So we found the part that's all about, that's the driving force behind it. What was that about? And it was so that it came up that in the session that she needed pain to be like everybody else. And I was excited by that, because I thought, that doesn't sound like a conscious thought to me. That sounds like the subconscious talking, doesn't it? So I'm like, oh, we could be on something. So I said, oh, who's your everybody? Because I don't understand. And she said, well, don't you remember, Mum, when I was 1, my cousin, my brother, and even you, Mum, were in pain. So I had to be like everybody else to fit in. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Well, the thing is, everybody else is better. And even if they weren't, your pain isn't helping anybody, and especially isn't helping you. And then she could see that consciously. And so I said to her, what do you need to do to let go of it? And our subconscious mind, as you know, is very all about imagery. So she said, I just need to imagine I'm tying it to a pink helium balloon and watch it float away. Oh, how cool is that? Okay, do that then. And then she's just she's just wiggling around on the bed. And I said to her afterwards, what was that? She goes, well, all my joints were clicking back into place. And I was sort of looking at her a bit disbelievingly, thinking, is she having me on? She's 14. Is she just, you know, I'm not quite sure about this. But then she's running down the stairs, which she never did, because she was in pain. And then she's kneeling on the floor, and she's looking at me. She goes, look, Mum, I'm kneeling. And I'm like, yeah. She goes, when did you last see me kneel? Now you come to mention it, it's not something I've actually thought about, but no, you don't. And so she said, no, because it's too painful. But I can do it, look. And I'm sort of really very much in disbelief. But the long and the short of it was, we kept going back to the hospital for checkups, regular checkups, and they're just going, oh no, she's in remission. No, everything's fine. And I said to them, isn't that funny? How can you have no symptoms when you're in the middle of a flare-up and it's just suddenly gone? I said, oh, well, it sometimes happens. We've not really seen it before, but, you know, it's just one of those things that we don't know. I said, well, I know what happened. And of course, I told them, and they looked like, yeah, it had been a few years ago. I think I might have been put in a straitjacket, because I was completely, you know, it was completely not in their remit of what was possible. And so I then decided that if that's what I can do when I don't know what I'm really doing, I decided to rent a room locally in a wellness centre and basically just put my stall out and say, if anybody's interested, let's have a session. So I went on helping other people, and I've not stopped since.
I love that. It is so amazing. And these miraculous things, I see it all the
It's
time, all
my
the time.
normal now,
It
absolutely.
it is. And it's like, why don't more people know about this? It's really cool. So I had
Thank
a
you. Yeah.
client who I had really helped to lose weight and like all these things. And her daughter was going to school to be a psychologist or psychiatrist at the time,
Mhm.
and had gone through this section and they about hypnotherapy, and they basically said, well, it doesn't work. She quit school right then and went and took her hypnosis training because she was like, I know that's not true. Like my mom has lost 70 something pounds here and all these like wonderful things. So I love stories like this because it really helps to show the truth behind hypnosis and what it can really do. Um,
Mm.
so in your opinion, and I see that, you're decode the root cause method. What would you say? What do you believe that the real root cause of most people's suffering and pain would be?
It's emotions, it's suppressed emotions, it's hidden core beliefs, really. And I've actually written a book on the subject, Decoding the Body's Messages, Unlock Your Wisdom to Heal, because your body is a messaging device. And the truth is, where your symptoms are tells a deeper story of what your pain is, what the emotional pain is behind it. So it's not broken and you're not unfixable. It's just telling you, will you please know yourself? So the true alignment with ourselves, as I probably think you'll agree, is self-love.
Yeah. Hmm. It's,
It's about loving yourself.
yeah.
So you've just forgotten how to, because of the past experiences that were painful, the trauma that made you feel bad about yourself.
Hmm.
And so when you understand that, and you can see that the real core of who you are, that soul essence of who you are, is the sparkly diamond. And that's shining in the background, but it gets dulled and dimmed because of the past experiences where you believe that you weren't good enough, that there's something wrong with you, and all the other negative stories that you've told yourself over the years has
Hmm.
led you to believe that there's something wrong with you. But actually, it's just old fake stories that you, like the core beliefs that you believe you to be, that aren't really true.
Hmm. Yeah, it's so neat too, and I'm sure that you see this a lot with clients when you take them back, that you'll go back to like the root cause and they'll be like, I had no idea. Like, I don't even remember that happening. I don't even whatever. So there's so many things. Like, it's like we're operating completely blind unless we go in and actually search our subconscious mind. We don't know that it's really our beliefs in our past that's dictating everything that we're doing right now. We think it's us, but it's not. It's just these things we believe.
That's
And
right. The 95% is the subconscious, isn't it? And it's out, like you said, it's out of conscious awareness. So we don't know what's going on. It's like your mobile phone, your cell phone. It's that program running in the background with all the apps.
Mhm.
Um, but we quite clearly, quite happy to update our mobile phones, our cell phones, or TVs and stuff. But we don't ever think about our own subconscious programming. And yet, when we do that, it's enlightening, it's amazing, it's freeing, it's liberating, it's freed my own toxic relationship patterns and anxiety. I didn't know I was anxious. I just thought that was who I was, because it was instilled in me from being really maybe, well, probably out of the womb, to be honest.
Yeah.
So it's and it's so amazing when you're freeing all that, and and it's a great, it's not scary because people say, oh, doesn't it frighten you? No, it's a beautiful journey of self-discovery. You're finding who you are, and you're realizing that it's the teacher that told you you're no good at maths when you were 4 that's been running that program
Hmm.
ever since, or
Hmm.
whatever it was. It's our caregivers, it's our peers, it's our parents, it's the teachers, it's everybody that we've, because the thing is, when we're little, we're trying to figure out who we are, and we haven't got that conscious awareness. So if someone says you're stupid or you're whatever, we just wear that as, oh, that's who I am. It's labels limit us, don't they? So much.
They totally do. And then we begin to believe in them even though they're not true. I exactly that have had clients who believed that they weren't smart because they were told that they weren't, and they were completely normal. It was just some mean teacher. I've actually seen a lot of issues with teachers that
So
comes
have
up
I.
very
So,
often.
so have I. One teacher actually led to an addiction, and he got no idea. My client got no idea that's where it was. Just
Yep.
hadn't even pieced it together consciously. And when he understood it was his science teacher, he was like, "What the actual is that all about?" You know. And he's not been drinking ever since. When he understood it wasn't even his fault. It's amazing.
That's the coolest thing too, right? Is when, because we always want to know why. Ever since we're little kids, we always ask why. And this tells them the why. This tells people why. And as soon as you hear the why, you're free. It's like it just sets you free. So, okay,
It's
what
amazing.
when you notice, when you're working with clients, when is it that you notice that they have made like a soul shift versus just a conscious shift? Like how can you tell?
Because when I regress them back, we go back to those scenes and like, well, that's no longer you because. And then I say to them, how are you feeling about that scene now? And they go, I'm over it. Like, great. You can see it. And it's when they start loving who they are, you can see it's the way they hold themselves as well. You can see, and the way they talk about themselves and that they're holding themselves, living who they are and talking to themselves in a much nicer way. That's when you know. And I don't time my sessions because it is all about the transformation. It is all about releasing the old stuff so they can see themselves for who they really are.
Hmm. Agreed too. I don't time sessions. Actually, when I first started practicing, the lady who was training me stopped in the middle of a session, and it caused me so much trauma when I left there that I was like, this was a good lesson to learn because she,
Mm.
sold them by an hour or by however long. And I was like, no. So sometimes they're 3 hours. I mean, typically not, but sometimes they are because
Yes.
we're gonna really do it.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
Mhm.
Most of mine are about 2.5 hours, but occasionally, yes, I've had a three.
So,
Yeah.
what would you say, being a hypnotherapist? I know it's helped me huge, but how would you say that being a hypnotherapist has helped you with spiritual growth?
Wow, that's a really good question because you realize you're much more than your physical body. You realize that the subconscious is linked to self. You can going back to just having experience of going back to a past life in hypnotherapy or even seeing yourself in the future. You realize that you're so much more than what you've been told you are.
Hmm. A soul, truly. I know I always say, as a hypnotherapist, if you didn't believe in past lives, it's pretty hard not to because, I'll have children because it's usually more often children that will just regress back to a past life and that's where their present issue is coming from. It's
Yeah,
super fascinating. Another thing, I noticed, being a Christ consciousness being and studying in that way was all the Christ consciousness principles we see in our chair. That it's
absolutely.
really about belief and it's really about, the heaviness and the judgment and the anger and all these heavy, dense emotions that they have. That's
Yeah,
that's your
that's right.
problem.
That's right. The thing is, you can't kill energy, it just transforms. If you think of water, it's ice, it's water, it's vapor, it's steam. And it just transitions, and we're the same. In
Hmm.
fact, my son remembers a past life when he was little, when he was really tiny, he'd only just learnt to speak, and he used to cry for his other mother. And I always said, "Oh my gosh, darling, I'd take you there if I knew where she was." But he's forgotten all that now. So, but
Hmm.
that is what happened. He was really he really was sobbing for her.
Hmm. That is neat. I remember being a child. I remember remembering past lives, and I remember one time getting in trouble, uh,
Mhm.
and not one time, but getting in trouble and thinking, oh. We just have to keep doing this again and again and again and again. And I was probably about 5 years old, maybe four, something like that, and just thinking like, oh, these lives are endless. They just never end. And thinking about that now, it's funny. It's like we really know things when we're little because
Yeah,
we
we did
haven't
know.
forgotten yet.
That's right. And looking back at my childhood, I can remember maybe being told off or being told something, and I remember sort of feeling in the core of me like, well, that's not true. It didn't hit as a truth. And parents or whoever was sort of saying, oh no, you're wrong, and you sort of had that question mark in your mind going, well, it doesn't feel like I'm wrong. But you say so, so I just sort of shut up and stayed quiet. But when you look back and see those sort of things, sometimes those little things come back into your memory, don't they? And you think, oh, I wasn't wrong, actually. That was my truth. And that's why it didn't, what they was telling me didn't resonate at all.
Hmm. How do you think that people could begin remembering their own divine essence being? Because I see, so many people don't know. They don't really even know that they're spiritual beings. What is something that they could do to help them to remember that?
Well, they could read my book, but they could just sit with themselves really and just ponder on, what is the possibility of having a previous life? What have they haven't just appeared on the planet right now. They've been something else. So they could book a session with you, Michelle, they could, or me, or whatever, any hypnotherapist that does past lives, and just experience it. And it's quite incredible, isn't it?
It is incredible. I think when you work with somebody for the first time, that's the most exciting thing, especially if they've never done hypnosis before, because when they come out of it, they're like, oh, oh, I feel so much lighter. I feel
Yes,
so
I
much
love that,
better.
don't
It's
you?
it's so
Yes,
exciting.
it is so exciting. In fact, my book talks about who you really are at the very beginning of the book, of how you're more than energy, how you are, you're more than just the body. You are energy, and it just transforms and transmutes. And then it goes into the trauma and how, what is trauma. It doesn't necessarily mean being held by knife point. It's anything you've gone through that made you feel bad about yourself.
Could you show us your book? Do you have it there with you?
Yes, I have. It's
Okay.
called
And where
Decoding the Body's Messages, Unlock Your Wisdom to Heal. It's won 2 book awards. One is the Award of Excellence, and the other one is Holistic Health Book of the Year for Central England, which is quite phenomenal. And then it just talks about the A to Z of the a lot of ailments that we go through, and what those meanings are in the body. So what the actual emotional root cause is. But I think for me, and there's also a little bit about my chapter, my story, so you can see my transition, my transformation in it myself, because I've been doing this work subconsciously as well. And then the unlocking part is really good, because it doesn't just go tell you, oh, this is because of trauma. I start shifting it in the book as well. So there's QR codes and links so that you can download meditations and journals, and there's a video as well, talking about, not just talking about gratitude, but actually I'm bouncing off another lady that I work with in a group, and so we're doing the like gratitude. Oh, I'm grateful for this and I'm grateful for that, and we sort of got that energy going. So it's a high vibing energy, not just writing down. It's like, oh, how it's hard to think of it on your own,
Mhm.
potentially, when it's something you haven't done before. And then there's the Ho'oponopono prayer, which I've embellished a little bit as well. And then there's just a bit more about my method and the conclusion of it all. So
I love this. That sounds amazing. We will post the links down below so anybody can buy your book. So you were talking, so I just have to bring this up because it's coming to my mind. Yesterday I'm at the dentist and I'm like, what do you like doing the best? What's your favorite thing? And so he does it, to make you look better. I can't remember what that's called, but like fixes your teeth up real nice. And it's because he had been in this horrific accident and had to get his whole thing redone. So when I'm thinking about your daughter, and at the time it's like, oh, this is the worst thing that could have ever happened. What a wonderful thing it has led to, that you would have never written that book. You would have never done what it was. You would have never been able to help all these people. So I just want to point this out, that, sometimes we suffer more than we need to when we're going through something and we think, oh, what a terrible thing, what a terrible thing. And it is kind of at the time, but it's placed for a purpose to lead us to our purpose. I believe that's exactly what happened to you. So thanks to your daughter, you know.
absolutely, yes, that's my that chapter in my book is called Turning Pain into Passion.
Mhm.
But yes, you're right. There is a message there in all the pain. It's basically you're like being planted, aren't you? So that you can grow into this beautiful oak tree.
Mhm.
Um, there's a meaning behind it. When you look back, going
Yeah.
through it, like you're right. It's like why me kind of thing. But when you look back at it, you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
had to go through that, because if I hadn't, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be talking about my book that's won 2 awards. It seems, it's just amazing, isn't it? When you look and see what pain has actually led you to, it's quite incredible.
Yep, like there is no right or wrong or bad or good. It's our thinking that makes it so. And so, like, knowing that going forward, if something happens, we don't need to suffer about it. Rather than putting ourselves through the, oh, what a terrible thing, we can think, I don't know why, but I'm thankful right now, and it can alleviate the suffering because we don't need it. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're almost out of time here, but if you could speak on one message directly to the collective, what is something that you would really like to just share with people?
I think it is that our bodies know how to heal given the right conditions, that you're not broken or unfixable. There's just a message there.
Everything is spirit. That's what I believe too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's even more succinct than I said it. Yes, everything is spirit.
Just trying to push us in the right direction. So I would say, if people have any physical ailments, have any physical anything, you can talk to it. You don't even need us. It's very helpful, but you can actually go in and you can say, to your sore elbow, hey, like, what are you trying to tell me? And it will tell you.
It
And
will. Well, elbows are all about love energy. They're all about the love relationships, because they're our love joints. So it's just what was going on for me. Great question to ask yourself is, what was going on for me at that time emotionally? What was going on for me? And just think about it. Keep it in you go about your day. Just think about what was going on at that point in time. I do more in detail of what your symptoms mean. So then you give you more of a, where was I putting pressure on myself, or what burdens was I carrying, and all that sort of thing. So you can sort of go deeper into that question.
right, because instead of, oh, my body hates me, it's no, my body loves me and it wants me to love me more than I am right now. And not even just
Absolutely.
love me, it wants me to love everybody out there too. Just
Yes,
wants
but you
me to
start
love.
with yourself.
Well,
Yes.
thank you so much, Rachel. This has been amazing. I
Thank
love the
you. It's
work
been
that you
amazing
do.
talking to you.
I'm so
Yes, thank
excited
you.
about your book, all the things, all the links. If anyone wants to get a hold of Rachel, all of that will be down below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Love to you all. Thank you. And we will see you guys next time. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Michelle. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for joining the Real Healing Institute show with me, Michelle Sinclair. Tune in every second and fourth Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com for more empowering ways to spread love and set yourself free. Together, we'll elevate the consciousness of the planet. Stay connected. Follow me on social media, subscribe to the podcast, and explore the Mental Cleanse series on YouTube. Ready to go deeper? Book a session with Michelle at therealhealinginstitute.com. Until next time, keep healing, keep growing, and remember, love is the only way.